Hola, buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. Son las 2:30. Buenas tardes. Hi, everyone. It's Jennifer from Fine Fluency, and I'm here with our mini lesson. Oops, I've got a bit ahead of myself there. With our mini lesson number 7. And today I'm going to fulfill a request that I've had from a member of the group who's asked me to go over, just briefly, some pronunciation rules in Spanish, okay? So, ¿cómo se dice en español? How do you say it in Spanish? La pronunciación, okay? Pronunciation. So there are some rules that I can maybe go over with you just to make your life a little bit easier. And, you know, stop me having to send you little sound files on your private messages as how you say words and how you pronounce things, because I'm getting quite a lot of questions about pronunciation. It's usually covered quite early on, but I find that it can turn people off a little bit if it's the first or second lesson that you do, because they leave the lesson and they feel a little bit like they haven't really achieved that much. They can't really say anything. They haven't expanded their knowledge that much. So this is probably a good point in the course just to take a little step back and go, right, well, do we understand the pronunciation rules? Do we know how to say the words that we're coming across and that we're seeing? Okay, so la pronunciación en español. A little brief ready reckoner for you. So, en esta lección vamos a aprender cómo pronunciar palabras en español. Very simple today, right? One little aim of our lesson, how to pronounce words in Spanish. So we're going to look at letters particularly and letter combinations that make certain sounds. It's a little bit like, you know, my little girl's in primary 1 at the moment in Scotland. It's a bit like reception in England, if you like, or the year after year 1 after reception. And it's a bit like doing phonics. So we're going to look at, not only are we going to look at letters, but we're going to look at letter combinations and the sound that they make within words, okay? Lo que necesitas, what you need, is un boli, un lápiz y papel. Como siempre, as always, keeping it very simple for our mini lessons, and we just really need ourselves, positive attitude, pen or pencil, and some paper. Okay, so, vale, las preguntas, questions that you may need. So if you're getting stuck with how to say something, or you don't know a word, or you don't know how something sounds, you could ask, ¿cómo se dice? How do you say it? Okay, so how do you say? So for example, if I didn't know the Spanish word for window, right, I might say, ¿cómo se dice window en español? Okay, and they would say ventana, window. ¿Cómo se dice? How do you say it? How do you say something? Our next one, ¿cómo se pronuncia? ¿Cómo se pronuncia? Okay, how do you pronounce it? Try saying that one after me. ¿Cómo se pronuncia? ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se pronuncia? Well done. You may hear in response to that, se dice, okay? You say it, you say such and such, or you say it. Se pronuncia, you pronounce, or you pronounce it, okay? Como se dice, como se pronuncia, se dice, se pronuncia, por ejemplo. Vale. La pronunciación. That's a bit of a mouthful in itself, that word. So letters and letter combinations that I feel like it might be good to be aware of for you guys, right? So the letter C, or C in Espanol. In Castellano, which we are learning, so Castilian Spanish, the letter C is pronounced as a th. So you see my mouth there, it's quite visual. It's like her th sound, right? When it's followed by an E or an I, as we see in the words centro or cinturón. Okay, centro means center and or middle, and cinturón means a belt. Okay, so it's a th sound when it's followed by E or I. When it's followed by A, O, or U, it has a hard K sound. So contar, cumpleaños, campo. Contar, to count or to tell a story as well. Cumpleaños, birthday, as you know, and campo is the countryside. So C, usually a th when it's got E or I after it. If it's got A, O, or U, it's a hard K. Okay? Now, I really don't want people to get too hung up on learning the rules as such, like studying these rules and learning them and studying them. What should happen, it doesn't happen for everyone, okay, but what should happen is the more exposure that you get to the language, then the more naturally this should occur anyway. You shouldn't really have to think about it too hard or too much. If you are listening and reading as much Spanish as you can, this will come naturally. I don't want to over technicalize it, if you like, right? Because people can get very, very hung up on the rules and how I say this and how I say that, and if it's got an E after it. And that gets quite tiresome and quite boring really quickly for you guys as learners. So I think my advice to you would really be to try and get as much exposure to the language as you can, refer to these rules if you're stuck with something, but don't sweat it too much if you're making mistakes or not getting these rules quite right, especially at this stage. Most of you are really beginners, okay? So finally, with the letter C, we need to be aware that C-U-E and C-U-A make a qu sound. So Q-U in Spanish don't make qu. It's C-U-E and C-U-A that make that sound, okay? So examples of that, cuánto, or cuántos años tienes, we've seen, yeah, qu. And la cuenta, por favor, the bill, please, okay? So cuánto, cuenta, C-U-E, C-U-A, qu sound, not Q-U. And we'll come to Q-U. Right, Z as well is a th sound, so it's our th sound again. For example, we see it in the words zapatos, shoes, zumo, juice, zebra, zebra. Okay, so C and TH, th sounds. B and V are both similar, and they're both B, okay? And we see this with vale, botella, bien, vamos. Now, the V ones may be slightly softer, so that B sound in English, you can see how we form it, we bring the lips together, but it's still quite an open sound. In Spanish, it's more of a pursed lip sound, so it's vale, vamos, a bit more like that, you'll see, okay? G, now I'm sure this was the one that somebody got stuck on. It can be a hard G, so sounds like gustar, guantes, gris, ganar, right? If followed by E or I though, it's that guttural, I had to look up how to spell this word, guttural. It's the guttural JGH sound. So it sounds kind of like a H sound in English, not in Spanish, but the J and the G guttural sound in Spanish is that H sound that we hear, okay? So we see this with the word gente and gitano, right? So it can be hard when followed by U or A or other letters, gustar, guantes, gris, ganar, followed by E or an I, then we are always going to hear it, H, gente, gitano, okay? H, it's generally silent, okay? Hermano, hola, horario. So we've seen that already with a lot of words that we've done. Generally silent, so we kind of act like it's not there. You may hear the H in some imported words. So words like hamster or words like hockey, sometimes you might hear the H sound. So words that are kind of imported from English, more or less. But generally speaking, in Spanish, the H is silent. J, we've got that guttural H, J, and G sound again. So jardín, jirafa, jersey. You really need to practice that if you want to get it right. There really is nothing worse than hearing an English-speaking person saying, I don't know, en el jardín, okay? Los jardines del sol. It's really not nice, okay? So you really need to practice that one. Jardín, jirafa, jersey. Double L's together make a Y or a L sound. We've seen it in me llamo. We've seen it in llorar, which means to cry. We've seen it in pollo, on menus. So double L, me llamo, llorar, pollo. It's a Y sound, Y. The N with our accent in makes a N sound, right? And we see that in niños, albañil, enseñar. So a N sound. This actually appears as a separate letter on the Spanish alphabet. You have the normal N and then you have the N with our accent, and it's niños, albañil, enseñar. It's a N sound. Q and U together make the English K sound. So we've seen what makes the Q sound. It's C and U, C-U-E, C-U-A. Q and U makes the English K sound. So, for example, queja, queso, K. So, ¿qué tal, right? Q and U make a K sound, not a Q sound. Be aware of that. Double R, it's rolled around your mouth, okay? So, Inglaterra, Inglaterra, por ejemplo. So, really roll those R's. Okay, so practicamos. Puedes pronunciar estas palabras en español? So I'm going to give you some quite tricky ones, okay? And I want to see, can you kind of apply those rules? And feel free to go back and look over the slides again. Listen to me going through the explanations again. Come back to this slide and see if you can practice. You may want to now pause and maybe go over them for a couple of minutes, see if you think you can work out how to say them. And I'm going to go over answers in just a minute. So you may want to pause your slide and just take a little minute now. Okay, welcome back. If you've paused, I'm going to go over how we say these. Now, it's important that you do your bit of the lesson and that you actually try and do this and don't just wait on me giving you the answers, okay? Because obviously, it's a big part of your learning process and how your brain works that you try and apply these rules yourself. I'm going to now go over answers. So number one, as we know, our H is silent and we're going to roll those R's. So ahorrar, ahorrar is how we say it. It means to save money. Not something I'm very good at actually, but ahorrar is how we say it. Number two, we've got a G followed by an I, and then interestingly, a G followed by an A. So let's see if we can work this one out. G and I is our guttural sound, right? And G and A is the hard G sound. So we should really be saying gigante. Number three, we've got one of our N's with our accents. So we're going to say año. Number four, we've got a C here, we've got a V, we've got a Z. So we say cerveza. Cerveza. Number five, we've got V and B. So we should say vino blanco. Vino blanco. Number six, we've got J followed by E. So that's our guttural sound, and that's jefe. Number seven, we've got a J in there again. So just to practice this, naranja. Naranja. Okay, so naranja, number seven, naranja. And number eight, this is a little bit tricky. We've got two QUs. So quiero queso. Quiero queso. Remember that K sound, not Q. Right, well done if you've got them right, or just about, there or thereabouts. Moving on, last thing for today then. So we've gone over our pronunciation rules, we've gone over our letter combinations and how they sound. We've got unas trabalenguas españolas to finish off. Una trabalengua is a tongue twister, right? So a little bit of fun just to end our lesson today. And let's see how you got on with these. So our first one, we're really practicing that Q sound that we've spoken about today. So I'll say it first and you can have a little go and you can go back to these at your leisure, as I say, as usual. Great thing about these online lessons and online courses is that you can do things when you want to do them, when it suits you, you can go back again, you can revisit things at your own pace. So, ¿cuántos cuentos cuentas cuando cuentas cuentos? Which means, how many stories do you tell when you tell stories? Okay? ¿Cuántos cuentos cuentas cuando cuentas cuentos? Not as easy as it looks. Right, number two, we're practicing our new sound here. Noño Yáñez, Ñañez, I should say, come ñame en las mañanas con el niño. Noño Yáñez come ñame en las mañanas con el niño. So that's Noño Yáñez eats yams in the mornings with his son, or with the boy, actually, not his son, with the boy. The inference there is probably his son, but we don't know, it's just a boy. Right, this one, practicing our double R's. R con R cigarro, R con R barril. Rápido corren los carros detrás del ferrocarril. It's hard, that one. They're all hard actually, but it's really good practice and it gets your head round a little bit those letter combinations and how they sound. So it's definitely worth practicing, worth having a look, and have a little Google yourself at trabalenguas, españolas, and see if there's any other ones that you can come up with that you find maybe helpful for sounding out the words. Okay? Okay, so hoy hemos aprendido what we've done today. Cómo pronunciar palabras y letras en español. So how to pronounce letters, words and letters in Spanish. Right? And los deberes, a little bit of homework for you. You could revise and revisit the vocabulary we've already covered in the course so far. And you could drill the vocabulary following these new rules that you've seen. Okay, so having a look back over what new words and vocab that we've come across and just revisiting it and looking at it with some fresh eyes with a view to applying the rules that we've seen today. Okay, that's us, I think, for today. Muchísimas gracias. Hasta la próxima. Adiós.